Hi, welcome to marriageofficerja.com. My name is Bishop Dwayne Fuller, and I'm using this opportunity to congratulate you on your intended wedding. At Marriage Officer JA, we desire to help couples have a very seamless and cost-effective approach to wedding days. Now, my desire is to assist you in identifying three easy to follow steps to obtain your minister's license and to complete the necessary steps to have a great wedding day. Step one, in order to obtain your minister's license, that is the authority needed for the marriage officer to perform your wedding on your wedding day, you must follow these steps very keenly. Number one, you will need to send 2 copies of your original documents to the marriage officer. And this can be done by FedEx or any similar courier service. That is, no WhatsApp, no email, and no scans. These documents must be notarized, and these include your birth paper, your IDs, preferably your passport, your divorce decree, absolute if you were married and divorced, if you were married and divorced, your death certificate if you're a widow or widower, all right? And these are to be sent to the marriage officer. And you can use FedEx. They're very reliable and they pretty much work for most countries around the world. Number two, you are to go to the Ministry of Justice website and download 2 important forms. It is generally called the Form of Declaration. The Ministry of Justice website is moj.gov.jm. I repeat, www.moj.gov.jm. Having searched for the form of declaration, you are to download these forms and they will resemble what I have here on display. Page 1 of the form as being shown is to be printed on a legal size paper only and completed in front of a justice of the peace in the island of Jamaica. Page 2, called Schedule G, must also be printed, but on letter size paper. When these are both printed, you're to complete the documents in front of a JP or in the presence of a justice of the peace in the island of Jamaica. Now, the spouse who is currently in the island, along with a third party, can be present to do this. Now, the third party is the person who is required to complete the document. That is Schedule 1, third party. And they are to, in the presence of the JP, acknowledge that you two are getting married. And these are the details. It means that they will provide reliable information concerning you. That is your names in full, your calling, your condition, and the local Jamaican address, which will be used for this form. Now, your calling refers to your occupation. So you may be a judge, a criminal lawyer, a teacher, or a pastor, or someone who has some other occupation, carpenter, plumber, lawyer, whoever, right? Similarly, your condition will be either bachelor, divorced, widower, spinster, divorced, or widow, whether you're male or female. Now, no overseas addresses will be admitted. And if it is placed on the form, then you'd avoided your application, all right? You need to ensure that you have a Jamaican address, and you can simply use the address of the intended spouse who is living in Jamaica, or you can use the address of a family member or friend, right? Now, having done this, it will be endorsed by a justice of the peace, and do ensure that that aspect is done. Check your documents very carefully so that names are spelled correctly and all the information that is required to be there is there. And having done this, you are now to proceed to step 2. That is to take in the forms. Number 1, you would have taken in this form to the stamp duties office. That is page 2. It is to be taken down to the stamp duties office, 2 Harbor Street, downtown Kingston, Jamaica. And a fee of 4,000 Jamaican dollars will be paid by you to process this document. It will be stamped and returned to you. And when it is stamped and returned to you, you will combine that document with the page 1 that was completed by yourself, along with all the documents that I requested of you earlier. That is your original copy of your birth paper or birth certificate, your copy of your IDs, your divorce decree if it's applicable, or your death certificate if it's applicable. And they are to be combined with this and taken to the Ministry of Justice office. That is the Ministry of Justice office that is at 61 Constant Spring Road, Kingston, Jamaica. These documents, when taken in, will be used to produce what we call a minister's license. Now, the minister's license is an authority that is required to perform a wedding for you in Jamaica. I need that authority. And so you will, thirdly, that is your third step, take that minister's license to me when it is issued by the Ministry of Justice. Now, the Ministry of Justice will always advise you when to return to pick up the minister's license. Now, it could be the same day, now, or it could be the following day, or it could be much later, depending on the complexities of your situation and just your workload. Now, it's very important to understand, though, that the standard is usually 24 hours. And generally, you're expected to be in the island. That is, the overseas spouse is intended to be in the island at least 24 hours before this process begins. Now, there are persons who go ahead since they are already here. That is, the spouse that is residing in the island of Jamaica is already here, goes ahead and starts the process despite that requirement. Now, it's very important for us to know that once we have completed the third step, all is ready for you to get married. The minister's license is only valid for 90 days. And it's important that the date that you have set for the wedding falls within that time frame. Now, once the wedding has been performed, the minister in question, that is your marriage officer, will take the marriage duplicate register, which is the little book that he has. He has a little book that he will use on the wedding day for you and your 2 witnesses to sign. Now, every wedding requires witnesses. That is, you and your spouse on that wedding day, along with 2 other parties who will sign on a legal document to say, yes, I was there when they were getting married. I observed what was happening, and we attest legally that they are now man and wife. And so those 2 witnesses are to be provided by you on your wedding day. Now, I usually use the opportunity to ensure that the witnesses know that their full names must be completely legible on the documents that they sign on, right? And that word sign, when we use it in the marriage industry, means writing out your full name because the details do matter. If there are any misspellings or any errors, it will lead to trouble in the long run with you trying to access your documents, that is your marriage certificate at the end, and uh, perhaps changing your name or correcting records as time goes on. So I'm very careful to manage this administrative process very well so that your wedding is hassle free. Now, I want to use this opportunity to encourage you to start early. Our website at marriageofficerja.com is fitted with an easy checkout process and a help line, an opportunity for you to connect with an agent to discuss the details. If you are in any way unclear as to any step, or any part of the process and you need some assistance or guidance, we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you for joining us today. This is Bishop Dwayne Fuller at Marriage Officer JA.